Lewis Hamilton's long-awaited debut with Ferrari was meant to be one of the most electrifying moments of the 2025 Formula One season. After spending over a decade with Mercedes, the seven-time world champion made the high-profile switch to Maranello, hailed as the beginning of a new era for both himself and Ferrari. But reality hit hard. The Australian Grand Prix quickly turned into a frustrating test of patience for Hamilton, as Ferrari's questionable strategy, poor execution, and disastrous radio communication left him visibly irritated throughout the race. And now, with the team radio messages made public, the conversation has shifted from Ferrari's potential to Ferrari's problems. So is this just a natural adaptation period for Hamilton, or is it an early warning sign that Ferrari's internal chaos will cost them valuable championship points? And most importantly, can they fix these issues before they spiral out of control? Before we break down Ferrari's shocking execution, the tension between Hamilton and his race engineer, and what this means for the rest of the season, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Paddock Insider, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates on one of the most unpredictable F1 seasons in years. And let us know in the comments. Is Ferrari to blame for Hamilton's frustration, or does the seven-time champion need more time to adapt? The Australian Grand Prix was supposed to be a fresh start, a moment of excitement for Ferrari and its fans. The arrival of Lewis Hamilton at Maranello had ignited hope, with many believing that this partnership could bring the Scuderia back to championship contention. Pre-season testing had further fueled the hype, showing promising pace that suggested Ferrari could finally be ready to challenge Red Bull and McLaren. But as soon as the weekend began, the cracks started to show. Saturday's disappointing qualifying session was the first red flag. Both Charles Leclerc and Hamilton struggled to extract performance from the SF25, lacking the raw pace needed to fight for the front row. If Ferrari had any advantage, it wasn't translating when it mattered. But qualifying was just the beginning. Sunday's race execution turned a difficult situation into an outright disaster. This was meant to be Hamilton's first true test with Ferrari, a chance to understand the car and race conditions and build momentum for the season. Instead, it became a painful display of Ferrari's worst tendencies: strategic mistakes. Ferrari hesitated when quick decisions were needed. Lack of race pace. The SF25 seemed unable to keep up in critical moments. Radio confusion. Poor communication between Hamilton and his engineer only made things worse. What should have been a moment of learning and adaptation turned into a frustrating damage limitation exercise. And the world was watching. The message from Melbourne was loud and clear. Ferrari is still making the same mistakes. The team's race strategy is still too slow and reactive. The SF25 isn't delivering on the hype just yet. Hamilton isn't getting the support he needs from his new team. And here's the biggest concern. If Ferrari doesn't fix these issues quickly, their entire season could unravel before it even begins. The fans have heard the same excuses for years. We have the potential, we just need to execute better. But how long until potential stops being a promise and starts becoming an excuse? Now, heading into Shanghai, the question isn't just whether Ferrari can improve. The real question is, will they actually learn from their mistakes, or are we witnessing the start of yet another season of frustration? The issues started early. Hamilton immediately felt a lack of confidence and control in the car, reporting it over the radio. "Let me know where I'm slow. The car feels unpredictable." Hamilton is known for working extremely closely with his engineers, meticulously fine-tuning his performance during races. At Mercedes, he was used to getting clear, detailed feedback. But Ferrari's response? Turn 11 and 12. That was it. No technical insight, no analysis of the car's unpredictable behavior, and no suggestions for adjustments. For a driver like Hamilton, who thrives on precision and data, this vague feedback must have been infuriating. But the communication issues didn't stop there. Later in the race, Hamilton's new race engineer, Riccardo Adami, instructed him to use engine mode K1, an extra power boost for overtaking. The problem? Hamilton was already managing his own race and didn't need the distraction. "Leave it with me, please," he responded, clearly trying to stay focused. Yet Adami repeated the instruction. Hamilton, now visibly annoyed, fired back, "Yes, I know, leave it with me, please." This exchange wasn't just a small miscommunication. It highlighted a serious disconnect between Hamilton and his new team. At a crucial moment in the race, instead of being given useful information, he was being distracted with unnecessary back and forth. Let's be clear, the relationship between a driver and their race engineer is one of the most crucial aspects of F1 success. For more than a decade, Hamilton's partnership with Peter Bonington at Mercedes was a masterclass in efficiency and trust. They developed a flawless communication rhythm that allowed Hamilton to stay fully focused while receiving only the most relevant information. At Ferrari, it's a completely different environment. Adami has been with Ferrari for years, working with Sebastian Vettel and Carlos Sainz, but Hamilton is a different kind of driver, one who demands a higher level of collaboration. And based on what we heard on the radio in Australia, Adami hasn't yet adapted to Hamilton's communication style. Sky Sports analyst Karun Chandok summed it up perfectly. One thing that stood out in those radio messages is that Hamilton and Adami need more time to understand each other. There were moments where Hamilton asked for information and then told them to leave him alone. They need to find a rhythm. But does Ferrari have the luxury of time? Hamilton's frustration wasn't just about the radio issues. Ferrari's race strategy was an absolute disaster. As weather conditions changed, the team hesitated, misjudging the situation and failing to bring their drivers into the pits at the right moment. This cost both Hamilton and Leclerc crucial track position. Hamilton's frustration exploded over the radio. "I thought you said it wouldn't rain much. We just lost a massive opportunity." It was a crucial moment where Ferrari completely miscalculated, allowing their rivals to pit at the perfect time, while Hamilton and Leclerc were left struggling on the wrong tires. This wasn't just a minor mistake, it was a massive misjudgment that cost Ferrari valuable points. Ferrari is now at a critical turning point. How they respond to this early setback will determine the trajectory of their season. Hamilton's trust in his team is built on clear, precise communication and decisive decision-making. Right now, Ferrari is failing at both. For Ferrari's engineers, adapting to Hamilton's unique approach isn't optional. It's a necessity. They can't afford to waste time with vague instructions or unnecessary distractions during a race. And let's not forget, it took years for Hamilton and Bonington to develop their seamless dynamic at Mercedes. Ferrari doesn't have that luxury. These adjustments need to happen now. But beyond communication, Ferrari's race strategy needs urgent improvement. If they continue to second-guess themselves in changing conditions, they'll never be able to compete with the likes of Red Bull and McLaren. A team fighting for championships cannot afford to lose positions due to indecision. For Hamilton, this early struggle at Ferrari is a defining moment. He left Mercedes seeking a new challenge, hoping for a competitive car capable of fighting for victories. Instead, he finds himself in a machine that struggles to match the frontrunners. His patience and adaptability are among his greatest strengths, but continuous frustrations could lead to rising tensions within the team. Ferrari was expected to be fighting for podiums from the very first race. But if performances like Australia become the norm, Hamilton's frustration will only grow, putting even more pressure on the team to find immediate solutions. The Australian Grand Prix exposed Ferrari's weaknesses in strategy, communication, and execution. If they don't make immediate changes, this could become a season-long struggle, with Hamilton growing increasingly frustrated by the team's inability to operate at a championship-winning level. So what do you think? Is Ferrari responsible for Hamilton's frustration, or does he just need more time to adapt? Can the team fix these issues before it's too late? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Paddock Insider, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on this dramatic and unpredictable F1 season. Because if Ferrari doesn't fix these problems soon, we might be witnessing one of the most explosive storylines of the year. Stay tuned.